His teacher was paralysis. Her teacher was addiction. With love, they found each other. You are here now for the Conscious Couple Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Scott and M. We have yet to switch the name, but it will be switched.
Yeah.
I am energized and fired up after a long couple days of being completely energetically drained. In other words, I just have been wanting to lay in bed all day for the last 3 days. I mean, literally could just sleep. It's been rough around here.
We haven't been around here.
We haven't been around here.
No, we were somewhere else.
We were somewhere else for 2 nights.
Well, then...
We've been here all week.
Okay, not all week.
All week!
We got here back Monday.
This is why I'm tired.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No, we've only been back for 3 nights.
This is why I'm so tired.
Whatevs. Anyway.
So we are here. We are filming.
Right,
we are
what
late this week, but
are we
are
talking
here.
about? Let's get to
all right, well,
the skinny
first
instead
of all,
of the
thank
nonsense.
you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode. If you're new to this shit show, we lovingly refer to ourselves as a shit show because sometimes we go way off the rails. I'm just warning you now. But we may go off the rails. We laugh a lot, and we give you some really good value, I think, to take into your life and to create change. We're not just about relationship stuff. We're about every life stuff, everything in life, money, relationships, health. What else is there?
I don't know.
Spiritual growth.
Well, isn't
That's
that
our
what
jam.
it's all about? It's
Yeah.
all about spirituality and spiritual growth.
All about
and
spirituality and spiritual
how
growth.
to become the best person,
yeah.
how to live a
Right. How to live a great life.
happy, great life.
How to
be
thrive instead of just
how to use
survive.
power of what, honey?
The mind,
Yes.
intention. We are
That's
really
what we're all
blah.
about. I know.
Okay.
Should
All right. We
start
shouldn't
over?
be blah. No, we're not going to start over.
Right, so what are
we're
we
not blah.
talking about
Today we are talking about today we are talking about finding your soulmate.
I need a beer. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, we're going to talk about finding your soulmate. The word I was trying to say was like, it's something that a lot of people want to find out and want to talk about and want to do in their life.
What?
Because I think as humans, we're
soulmate?
Yeah, we're just
Well,
wired
sure,
to
because you
want
want
a
a partner
person.
that understands, that makes you feel good, right?
Right.
Ultimately, well, okay, so this is how I'll start it since you've been going nonstop. If I was to ask anybody, and listen, maybe put your comments below. What is the most important thing in your life besides yourself? Is it, financial freedom, to have all the money that you could possibly want, to have a soulmate that you can share everything with, yourself with, open up to, health, what is the most important thing? And I honestly, I think, having somebody to go through life with that you totally and just so connect with and so are in the same, field, so to speak.
The same field. I will say, if there's any two people in the world that are qualified to talk on this subject, I definitely think it's you and me. Because
I definitely would agree with that.
At some point in
100%.
our lives, we actually met our soulmates.
We have done that.
We have
done
at
that.
some point.
Yes, we have done that.
Silly.
And listen, this is what I'll say. I think a soulmate is, and you tell me this, but as you're saying that, this kind of comes to mind. I think I have met several soulmates in my life, and a soulmate was who I was at the time, the perfect fit for me. And
that's a really great definition.
Well, so it's been a great show. Thank you. I'm like Costanza. I got to go out on a high.
That's it.
That's a Seinfeldism. Anyway, I think I have had, definitely 3 soulmates. And, it was a perfect match for who I was at the time.
Yeah.
And then as we grow, hopefully we grow throughout our lives, and we learn from our failures, and we learn, from our failures, successes, all of that. And we become stronger, more independent, better feeling people.
Yeah.
Right. And I think the hardest part is when you have a soulmate and you are on the same path for so long, and then one of you changes. And that's hard because, especially when you're dealing with marriage and families and everything else. We've both been through that. When suddenly you've changed, or they have changed, and, or, growth happens, or whatever you want to call that. Well, suddenly that you're not the same person. So the person that was your soulmate isn't the same person either. So that I think really becomes difficult, because I think a lot of people stay in marriages that haven't worked, and they maybe have given up and on the marriage, which is almost like kind of giving up on yourself in a way. And by us going down the road we were both in a place that I think we had to go down this road for self-preservation. And that is the road of spirituality and really understanding, who you really are. Yeah. That it led us away from our soulmates at the time and into a new feeling of who we were, which was intoxicating, to become, happy again, to feel free again, and free not from people, but free from ourselves, right? Those limiting thoughts and that, the depression and all that.
Yeah. But usually a lot of times as a result of that, it is free from certain people, because those people, as you talked about,
they represent who you are.
Exactly who you were.
And that is such a great point, because that's why it's not like you are trying to just overcome yourself. You have this mirror in front of you that is a constant reminder of who you were. And that can be so difficult. And I think it really stops people in their tracks from actually going down and growing and going down this route,
this route.
This route.
Yeah. I mean, I remember, this is kind of going in a different direction, I think, than I wanted to take it, but that's okay. We're following the conversation. I remember early on in my journey listening to Tony Robbins a lot, and he would talk about relationships a lot. And he would always say, it is an inevitable divorce if you both are not growing together. Yeah. Like as individuals, you'll grow together, but if you are not growing as individuals and doing it together, because like you said, one will grow and the other won't, and you become different people, and then you are not the same two people that met, which is why, this is another Dr. Shafaliism, that it's insane to say, like, marriage initially started because of property rights, like to own property. Yep. That's originally why it started. And so to say, like, I am going to be with you for forever is kind of crazy when you think about it. Instead of just saying, you know what, today I'm going to be with you. Today I'm going to be with you, and I'm going to do the best that we can, and we're going to grow together and follow that journey and see where the journey takes us. Yeah. And, as you grow, as you just said, if you believe in the law of attraction, if you believe you create your reality, if you believe everything outside of you is a reflection of what's going on inside of you, of course, as you change, people in your life are going to change. And surely there's those ones that will stay through it all, as they grow too. But as you change, your outside world is going to change. And so I think that's what you mean about soulmates being, they were perfect for you. They were the perfect energetic match for you. Yes. However, I will add to that. Yes. Because I had 3 serious relationships before I met you. I'd been married and in a relationship for 10 years with one person. Before that, I was with a person for 2.5 years. And then before that, I was with a person for like 3 years. And that was Isaiah's dad. And so those were my 3 really serious relationships.
Would you consider them soulmates?
No.
Okay.
I would not. I would say they were perfect matches for where I was, for sure. They were all three very different relationships. They were all three very different guys because I was very different with all of them. But I think the difference is when I met you, like fairly early on, the thing that we always say is there was no dating. Like there was no getting to know you. Yeah. It was like I bared my soul and everything inside of me to you with no hesitation from the very beginning, and you did that with me. Yeah. And it was a familiarity. That's the best way I can describe it with you. It was so familiar that it was like I've never experienced this except for, I would say actually that soulmates don't just come in the form of like a partner, husband and wife. That they come in the form of friends and people too. Because
absolutely. Sure. You could say that for business. That's why I'm saying I think we kind of get lost with soulmate. Yeah,
it gets too much.
One in a million person. Yeah. And I don't look at it that way. I look at it as, I would say, so in serious relationships, I have had 4 serious relationships, you being one of them. Mm-hmm. And I would say, minus you, because you're another level, but
I'm extra.
Oh, she's extra. Oh, Lord help us, she's extra. But I would definitely have, 2 other, my marriage, and for sure we were, and my relationship before that, 100% my soulmate, because we became. We were kind of like almost 2 broken people in a way that became one healed person. Sure. And we fed off of each other. And I think, so there's all different kinds of soulmates. Like, so that person was without a doubt my soulmate, but I think it wasn't the healthiest of relationships because we were both kind of broken. So what do you define as soulmate? I think it is somebody that you need, I don't want to say need. It's not the right word. Someone that you attract and you are attracted to because of the place that you are in your life at that time.
So do you think there is a difference like between our relationship and the ones that you've had previously?
Without.
So why is that?
Way different, because I'm a different, different person than I was. Right. Way different person. And I think, and the reason why, we can leave the other 2 alone to really tap into what we are extra. I mean, to say soulmate. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make is like, the whole conversation is around finding that person that is your person. So this is what it all comes down to. You have to become the best person you can possibly come in order to attract. But that attract is not what you think it is. It's not a person out there that you're fishing for. That person's in the boat with you. You've got to be able to see that person in the boat because they're there. You can't see them when you aren't the person that you need to be to attract a person like that is in the boat. Does that make sense? Perfect sense. So that's why I say. Yeah. So, going down the road that I went down, I was struggling. I needed something more in myself. And I became probably to that day one of the best versions of myself. Yeah. In my view. Yeah. And a lot of other people's view, it wasn't true. But in my view, I was. Yes. I was the happiest. I was the freest. I was the most confident. I was the most proud of yourself. Heart-opened person that I had ever been in my entire life. Probably besides being a little boy. Same. I was so... And then, of course, boom, you show up. Yeah. So I just looked in the right direction in the boat. You're just in the boat. And I turn and there you are. Because now my eyes have opened up and I'm seeing the love I am looking through my eyes. How do I phrase this right? I'm looking, the sight through my eyes is love because I am love. So, I was love. The perception that what you're feeling on the inside, this goes back to everything is a reflection, right? So what you're feeling on the inside is so much love. We were just talking about this on our call today. Yeah, we were. There is so much love that is
cultivated from the inside out. So it's
Yeah.
not like you're out, something out there is making you feel love. You are experiencing it for the first time in your life on the inside,
Yeah.
like coming from within, not
Yeah.
from without.
Yeah.
And so, of course, it's exuding out of you. So it's everything that you see.
It paints the picture. So if you saw it, right?
Yeah.
If the love was a thing that, like a dye that came out of your eyes, right? Like it paints this picture of love.
Yes.
And it's the same thing of anger. If you
That's
have
what I was
anger
gonna
in
say.
you,
Same
it would
exact thing.
paint anger.
Everywhere.
If it's depression, it's going to paint everything depressed.
Yeah.
And, I think for us, we have these moments that we get into, me and you, and we've been, we hit new levels, like, man, new ladders.
Quick.
And then we get to these places.
Sometimes I'm like, are we going to just implode at some point?
Sometimes it's so hard to take, because the pleasure and the love is so much. I don't know what to do with it. I really don't.
Yeah.
The feeling in my body is so intense that I just need to, like, orgasm 100 times.
Yeah.
It's so intense, and you don't know what to do about it. And, we hit those levels, I mean, pretty often, but I think, it's, we're with each other constantly, 24 hours a day, all the time. And we just are, you're beyond real with me, I'm beyond real.
Yeah.
There's no, like,
wall barrier.
Yeah, there's no kind of, like, I don't tell myself
like we shit in front of each other.
And not,
there's no.
But not even that. It's not even that.
I'm just saying.
But there's not something that I would say in my mind that does not come out to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there's no, like, fear of saying something, or there's no.
And
there's just no barrier.
That's why I think, for us, it was, like you said, there was no dating. I knew you more than I knew most people in my life up until that point. I don't know, because, again, you were in my boat, right? Yeah. I was carrying you around my whole life.
Yeah.
And then finally, now you showed up, right?
Yeah.
Because and it wasn't like I sat there and I thought, oh, she's going to come, or she's. No, I was in relationship. You were in relationship. That's not what we were looking for. No. We just wanted to be happy.
Yes, within ourselves. And that's the thing,
that was the outcome.
So many people talk about, okay, I'm going to manifest my person. I'm going to manifest my partner. Like, that's their focus. And because they're constantly reminded how they don't have it, then they keep it at arm's length because they don't have it. Instead of become your own best partner. Like, it's so overused, but it's so freaking true.
It's so
I love
true,
that new
man.
song by Miley Cyrus. I just listened to it today. It's called Flowers. Like, I'll buy myself flowers. I can talk to myself for hours. I can write my name in the sand. Like, I can do all of those things to make myself feel so full that I don't need anybody else.
And that's when the door opens.
When you don't need it, when you're not separate, when you're like,
that was
I am so full of love on the inside, like, it's overflowing, and so of course that's all I see. So it's not like you are going out and searching for your soulmate, you are cultivating it from within. That is what you have to do, is constantly cultivate that self-love.
That was
so
our Bible.
But,
I mean, honest to God, that is why, because people, especially like in our courses and stuff, and the people that we share ourselves with, they see this, they see this, and like even our children, they see this, and it's beyond. Oh my God, if I could see any of our children with a relationship like this, I'd be wow, like thank goodness, right? Because and anybody, and obviously we know people, right, that have this relationship, and we're very blessed to be a part of their lives.
Deb
and
Steve.
And lots of them, not just them, just lots.
I know.
And
I just thought of them first.
Sure. And, I would say Jen's and names.
Oh,
so anyway, we don't have to
Stella
go name.
Brad.
We don't have to do name
Because nobody knows who they are.
I know. But I think those are the things that known right away in an instant, and I will do anything to be with this person because there's no life without it.
Yeah. And I think, when we talk about self-love, or like loving ourselves first, like cultivating that love from the inside, I think that, it's so overused, but it's so vital because this is why. Because we have that strength and love in ourselves, that is your and mine's foundation. Like that is our foundation.
Sure.
Like even when the only thing that we've really struggled with in our relationship is the sex thing, which we've talked about in length on here. Mm-hmm. And even through that struggle, it was still like we still have such a deep foundation for love for each other that we will figure it out.
Well, because we're a team. Again,
and we don't need anything from each other. That's the other part. Like, like, do we have conversations about like, well, maybe you could do this or maybe you could yes, but it's not like you better do this for me or you better do that for me. None of that exists with us. There is
I don't think that has ever even
because we know we've cultivated that in ourselves
for sure.
So we don't.
Well, and I think we understand that. Listen, you're the bonus in my life.
Yeah.
If any failure, success is mine.
Yes.
And then you're the bonus. Yes. Right. You're the shadow of that, right? Yeah. So you're with me all the time. It isn't a cause of you. Yeah. It's
a bonus.
It's a bonus.
That. Yeah,
and
for sure.
I think that's the thing and if we look at it that way, then suddenly relationships start looking a lot different.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
So
because
different.
It's not you need to do this for me, or you have to be this way for me, or you have to see me this way and tell me you see, because we've uncovered so many different conversations of people that, we work with. Mm-hmm. And it's fascinating to see how unconscious those little thoughts are. Well, he looked at me and he said, "Oh, you look fine." I look fine. Mm-hmm. I think I look outstanding. And you say, I look fine. You better do better than that. Well, that's not the right way to start off a night. But it was so unconscious for them. Totally. So unconscious. And then when we repeat it back, they're like, oh my God, what did I do? Yeah. And I think it redefines, when you take that tact, I think it redefines what a relationship is.
100%.
It's a bonus and not a sentence. Yeah. And I think listen, I was never against marriage. I'm not against marriage at all. I mean, I guess it's the death do you part is can be maybe a little antiquated because we're living longer. I don't know, but also because we're changing. Yes. We are in a very, very fast-paced, changing world. And not only does our technology change, not only do our cars upgrade every year, not only do all these changes happen, we change. And to be trapped into this contract and to all of that, it just kind of takes the spontaneity,
totally,
the love. It takes a lot out of it to where now you're basically in a cage with somebody. Yeah, and that doesn't help the relationship at all.
And I've seen people that my daughter's friends. I've seen couples that they wait so long before saying, "Hey, maybe this isn't working out, and we should part ways while we still have respect and love for each other, so that we can co-parent and be an amazing team together." Yes. But they wait because we have this contract, and so they wait so long they end up hating each other. Yes. And then it's a terrible divorce, and then they can't talk, and then I always think of our friends Bob and Amy, and even though their divorce was a little rough, they stayed above it. And,
they did.
And so her new husband would hang out with her ex-husband, and they would do things as a family together. Yep. And I always thought that was such an amazing example of
being bigger
and for the kids, the kids get a bonus now. Like my kids get you and your kids in their life.
Oh, they love them. Isabella just texted me, said, "You got to tell Aiden to shave the beard." I said, you can text them. Tell him.
It's like more love that they get to have in their life if we can look at it that way instead of like, oh my God, this horrible, tragic thing.
That is the way that I thought I really thought I could get that. Because it was such a long relationship and there was such respect for each other. But then outside sources come in and everything gets skewed, and it only takes, one conversation and one person to say, you know what, yeah, it needs to go that way, and it goes that way. And it was really out of I tried everything I could because, I know my kids are watching, and I want them to know. It's not like suddenly the love faucet for that person turns off. I was with them for 30 years. I adored her. Sure. I loved her. I was her biggest fan. Probably loved her more than anybody has loved her in her life, without a doubt. Maybe besides parents, But I think that's what happens, and the hurt shows up, and then the you've done this to me, and that's the shame of it. And I wish that could be better, but again, all I can do is take what I leared from that and then put that in.
Yeah. And it's not like even as we were saying earlier, like the 3 serious relationships I've had, I've learned from every single one of them.
Of course.
I learned from every single one of those people I was with, and each of those people
I learned how to love.
You.
I learned how to love from those people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I really, really, truly learned how to love. And they brought us to
each other. Like,
without a doubt.
We had to go through those.
Yes.
We talk about that a lot. Like, if I would have somehow crossed paths with him a year before,
it would have never.
We would have never saw each other. We would have never showed up in
even
each
that
other's
we
perceptions.
did, and that too. Even that we did in the time frame that when we met is a miracle.
It is.
I mean, it's an absolute miracle.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, you could literally take a minute out of that timeline,
and it would have been totally different.
It would have been totally different.
Yeah.
Totally
Although
different.
I always say, I think we would have met no matter what.
One sentence in a conversation, and it would have been a totally different life for me.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I think about that, especially when we first, got together. I would think about, oh my God, how close I came to never being with you.
So let me ask you something, honey. I'm asking you through there.
Oh, okay. Yes. I'm looking at you, baby.
So what is one of your most favorite things about our relationship? No, let's say 2. What are 2 of your most favorite? How am I supposed
to do that?
Things?
I love our openness. Absolutely love. I love and I'm going to count this all as one, but because I want to kind of, the openness of being able to tell you anything, anytime, anywhere, right? That's huge for me.
Yeah.
To be completely open with you. There is nothing that surprises you. I mean, seriously, I could say, well, I just wanted to tell you, I found a rabbit and I killed it and I ate it. And are you going to look at me any different?
No.
Well, you're probably hungry, right? Right. Well, you were probably hungry. I mean, they do it on Survivor.
Yeah, right.
But that, and I love that because then I know you love all of me. And ultimately, isn't that what we want? We want somebody to love every part of us, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? And then second, what is our second? I think our courageousness. Our courageousness to be us, our courageousness to be together, our courageousness to fight for each other, right? And ultimately fight for ourselves, right? And, because it was me and you against the world for a while. And I think, does that help a little bit? I think it does because you have to have this person in your corner. And I think those are the 2 big ones until you're going to say something. And I'm like, oh yeah, that.
I
what?
know.
Go ahead. Tell me.
Okay. The first thing is our laughter.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
We laugh a lot.
Oh, we laugh so much.
We laugh so much.
Yeah.
It's just the laughter. I mean, if I were to say to anyone about like the key to a really good relationship is laughter.
Oh God. And I think the laughter leads to love.
100%.
It leads to all physical love, all of that, because you're being vulnerable. Yeah. You're being open and vulnerable.
He makes me laugh very hard.
Well, you make me laugh. I mean, come on. You're kind of a shit show. And I love to watch it because how something so beautiful can be such a mess sometimes. It's just incredible. But then again.
Wild child.
Well, it's not even that. And because you are just amazing in so many ways. I mean, wow, I am just, I do. Honey, I swear to you, I wake up and I think sometimes, wow, what did I do that this person loves me so much? I mean, I must really be special. Yes. I really, there must be something
Yes.
really special about
Yeah.
me for this person, this
Yeah.
amazing fucking person in front of me that loves me this much.
Same.
Right?
Same.
All right. What's your second thing?
I would say, I agree with your things, like the openness. So I'm not going to say those because you already said them. So definitely the openness, the ability to be ourselves, more ourselves. I've never been more myself with anybody in my life. And the courageousness for sure to walk the path that we have. But I think also our adventurous side, like we both have such an adventurous side. I love that about us. I love that we both get bored easily because we want to see the world. Like we itch to move. Like neither one of us are comfortable just sitting and not doing it. Like we like to go travel. We like to get out of the house. We like to do things. We like to see things. We like to experience new things.
Yeah.
We like to grow, we're both interested in
and I
growth.
think that is a great story of a great relationship is, you encourage each other to grow. Right? Instead of one growing and trying to get the other one to grow. We had somebody on our call today. Oh my gosh, he thinks, and it's so hard when, you're growing and the other person feels more insecure because you're growing and you're going to leave, right?
Yeah.
And that's such
We've
a
both
fear.
been there.
Instead of saying, well, maybe you should get on the train too, right? Become a better person and we'll learn together. And I think we have had, you mentioned, Deb and Steve and other people, other couples in our life, and to watch them, you see that. You see them together pulling each other.
Totally.
But always, you never leave the other one behind.
And even there's a couple that are in our courses and we just love them dearly. But I think she was always kind of the leader as far as like going down the spiritual rabbit hole. And he kind of, he was always supportive. And I think maybe he kind of tagged along until I think really he decided to come to our workshop in September.
Oh, totally.
And it was so amazing because we all had dinner one night.
I was wondering, who were you even talking to? Because I didn't resonate with anybody.
We were having dinner one night and it was like the first night and her husband came, didn't know she'd been in my course, so she kind of, and his course, so she knew everybody, but he didn't. He was like, I just want you all to know that I'm so outside my comfort zone right now. Like I am like, but I was courageous am just loving this. Like I am feeling so loved and so supported by everybody here. And I'm loving this. And then he ended up joining Scott's course after the workshop. And so they do this work together now. And even, Angie said after I think 30 years of being married, they have fell in love with each other even more. Even at a deeper level.
He was just saying, I think last call, just like, it's just, you have no idea what this has done for us because, trauma and tragedy always come into lives, you know what I mean, in one form or another. And they had, a trauma that came into their life and they kind of shut off because, when you have a trauma like they experienced it, and many people have these, it kind of shuts you down because it's so hard to feel.
So hard, yeah.
So it's easier to shut yourself off than it is to feel anymore. So, and that just becomes the habit, and then you start not being able to open up. And that definitely happened in my life. I'm sure that happened to you, but for me, oh my God, I shut myself down, man. It was too painful to feel anymore. So by going through this process, and it's just like, man, it's like I am waking up. I'm this, all of a sudden it's like, wow, we are just inseparable now. And, talking about them. And that is when it's like, that's when, we always say that anybody that comes through what we do and we coach or whatever you want to call that, share really is the best way. I think when people start having big changes in their lives, and I gotta be honest, most do. Most that come into our courses, I think it's a pretty freaking real high success rate. I mean, seriously high. And when they make all these changes in their life and suddenly they feel happy and they feel good, and they're not showing up as a 2, they're showing up as an 8, in the scale, right? And we always say, well, listen, all we did was just point to you where it was, and you did the work,
did it,
right?
yeah.
Because I
We
don't want
do it. They do
I
it.
don't want anybody taking that away from me. I created my life. I did it. I found that, and you did as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can be hard to do because you're like, man, I want a little bit of credit for you, right? Because look, you were in pretty bad shape and you're pretty damn awesome, and it's never been about that. It's never been about, it's like, well,
We
if
give
you
them
succeed,
the
it's
information,
you.
but they do the work.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. If it's a failure, it's you. You own
Yeah.
it. If it's a success, well,
It's
same
you.
thing. It's
Yeah.
you. You own it.
Yeah.
And just today,
Yeah.
having an old client that had been with us for 2 years, and probably
2.5
4 years
years.
ago, and now to see him where he is today is just, I'm sitting there fighting back tears to see this guy, because when we would have those conversations on those calls 2 years ago, the person that he wanted to be is the person that he is describing
Totally.
himself as
Yeah.
now. And
Yeah.
he's just like, I just got to tell you, this literally has changed every part of my life. And it's, again, well, bro,
Yeah.
it was all you.
Yeah.
You, because there's things that you have to come up against.
Yeah.
And it's different when you have to come up against them as yourself, being by yourself, being lonely and not necessarily knowing what to do and afraid to talk about it and to tell anybody. It's a whole nother thing when you're on a call and you're actually, talking about these things, and everybody's looking at you and they're all like, we're not any different.
Yeah.
We've done that too.
I know. I loved how he said it was, when he was actively engaged in the program a couple of years ago. And so he was coming on the calls every week, our coaching calls that we have. And we talked about, a moment he had where for about 45 minutes, he was having a huge release of emotion on the call live, like crying and pounding the desk,
anger,
and screaming,
everything.
and just letting it all come out. Right. And he's like, I'll never forget. He said, I looked down at my desk, and this was after about 45 minutes of just letting it out.
Vomiting.
And he said, I looked up on the screen and everybody was still there. Everybody was still on the call.
With tears in their eyes.
Yeah, nobody
cheering.
had left.
Yeah.
And it was like, of course, like that's what this community is for. That's what this is for. That's what this container is for you to go to those deep places and be held and supported the whole time. Because when we're not, like you said, it's really challenging to do this on your own, especially if you don't have a partner or you don't have family or friends that you can talk to about it. So of course it's natural to want to have those people.
So let me ask you a question, because this has gone from, talking about soulmates
I know.
to now this.
We're all over the place today.
So, all right. So the one thing that if you could help somebody, the one thing help them unfold in their life, what would it be? Of all the people that we've had, and we've had a lot of people, have been and are in our community, a lot of people. So totally a lot of people, really sounded like him. What is it that moves you the most when they get it?
I think it's just that they are ultimately good and bad. No line in the sand. They are the ultimate creator of their reality.
So what does that look like?
I think it's when they take their power back. And when I say power, I mean, I just wrote this down today. Personal power means energy. What did I say? It means your energy, your voice, and your emotional state. That's what I said personal power was. And so, for example, I think what gets me the most is when they start creating things in their life. Like that's what they've been so scared this whole time. They're in a relationship that I think of Fireheart. We're throwing a lot of names out here today, but you have no idea who they are, but I think of Fireheart. She, for me, has been somebody that I've just, because I related to her so much when she joined, a woman with no confidence, kind of she knew the law of attraction and she knew she could manifest things, but her marriage wasn't good. She'd just given up her whole self for, she's a mom and everything else. And she just completely lost herself. And she just didn't think that she had the strength or the courage to live a life true and authentic to her. And so to watch her in the last year and a half, go from being like that scared woman to speak her voice and to actually she's now in a completely different life. Like she started a business. She's doing exactly what she loves to do. She, is going through a divorce, but it was what was in alignment for her.
Yeah.
And she's having conversations with her kids that she never thought she would have. She's sharing with them things that she never thought she could share. Like she is living a completely different life because she just learned. I mean, there's a million steps along the way to learn and a million truths to learn along the way. But she found that within herself. That wasn't us. That wasn't anyone out there. She got the information, but she had to take it and do something with it. And that's what makes me cry and makes me emotional when I see them is like, when we say we don't do it for you, we don't, because we know we've learned from teachers, and we're not going to give those teachers, we're going to give them ownership of like being brave enough to put it out in the world. Like that is what I'll take ownership for, that I was brave and courageous enough to go down this path, and then to actually become a guide and a teacher of it. That's really hard too. So I'll own that, but I won't own her journey because she had to do it.
Yes.
And that is what because we know personally the struggle of going through those hard moments, having uncomfortable conversations with her mother, having uncomfortable conversations with her, ex-husband, having uncomfortable conversations with family members, and taking steps in really uncomfortable ways because it is what's in alignment for her.
Well, I think the reason why it gives, I think where we come in that story, Fireheart story, is she had this fire inside her, and it was small. It was this small little fire,
for sure.
And we acknowledged it. Where I think a lot of people, and you may be one of them who's watching this, where people like to keep other people's fires down because they don't want to let it burn out of control, because then they'll be better than them, or they'll be more successful, or they'll be more confident than right. So people like to keep each other down in that way, and I think we did the opposite with her. We just put her in a place that fed that flame, as corny as that sounds.
No, it's true.
We really gave her an opportunity, an environment that she could come twice a week and, and to really
figure out who the fuck she is
and to help fuel that flame, because it was dying. I mean, and I think that's what happens. We get this flame and we let it go so low, and then we realize, oh shit, this thing's going to go out. So I need to fuel this thing up. And we're the ones, the director, to tell her where the wood is, where the fuel is. And she went and got it. And that is, where, even today though, when she said, I'm just in it, I'm being a victim, I'm being a victim of it, but she knows it. And that there's power in that, so I think it really is, that is what I think I love, is to really watch people in any form, in whatever they're going after, especially relationship, because I know, I mean, I've had some pretty amazing relationships in my life, and this one is like, oh my God, I'm trying to hold on to my gut.
You want everybody to be able to.
I want everybody to feel that love. I want everybody to feel that power within themselves. And it doesn't mean that I don't have challenging times. Of course I do. I'm still in this suit. It's sexy, but it's still sexy, suit. Baby. But that is, man, when they get it, I just realized, oh my God, it's been me. It's been me. And sometimes it takes a week to get there. Sometimes it takes a year to get there. And it doesn't matter the timeline. I don't care, because I'm there waiting for you to tell me that, and I'll take as long as it takes for you to get me to the place that I hear you say, oh my God, it's been me all along.
Yeah. I mean, I hear people say some of the women will say to me, like, they'll ask a question about something they're going through or need coaching on. And they're like, how do you have so much patience to work with us like we just keep we're like toddlers, right? Because they kind of are, but it's because we see what's beyond
we
that.
do. We see who they
see
are.
What
that was
is
last
possible.
week's call.
Yeah.
Last week's call was that. It's like, with, certain people on the call, Ellie, right? Perfect example of, we saw that day one. You kept looking over here. We're like, it's not over there. But you said, well, I'm going to keep making sure it's not over there. Okay, well, however long that takes, right?
Yeah.
And then
we see their greatness.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then she's like, I can't believe it. I am just, it's me. Like, I have been just searching for this person. I thought it was going to be my partner. It's actually me. And I'm like, uh-oh, mark this because he's coming now.
Yeah, right.
She
finally let go of needing to find that person.
Perfect person. And asking,
herself.
is this him?
Yeah.
Is this him?
Yes.
As soon as you don't care no more, right?
Yeah.
That's when it happens.
Yeah, and I think to bring it back to the soulmate thing, to bring it back full circle, it's like this is the work to create that soulmate, to create that person that's
100%
in alignment
in
with that.
anything,
because if you aren't there, why would you want to be with a person? Because that person is going to match wherever you're at. So if you are not the person yet, and
100%.
not like that doesn't change. Obviously, we're always growing and always becoming better versions of ourselves.
Yep.
But if you know, like, I am not the person that I want to show up as, of course you don't want to attract a person in that energy. Like, of course, where does the work start? The work starts on you. Just like Fireheart coming to me and just being at her wit's end and saying, I've got to do something different. She now, in the last year and a half, has fallen in love with herself. Yeah. She's fallen in love with herself. Yep. And so, of course, everything else has to be a reflection of that. And so if you're out there right now thinking, like, I need my person, I want to manifest my person, I get it. Like, I get it's human nature to want to
But this
connect.
is the path, man. Trust me. You have to start with you. And I know we want it now, man. We're in a want it now world, and I get it. But you may feel it for a minute, but it will fleet, So this... like, I think, especially with that. How long we've been together now?
25 centuries.
Yeah, that's funny. What is it, 4 or 5 years
Many
now?
lifetimes.
So, I mean, and I honestly, I think people probably thought, I know some people definitely thought that we had it. Well, I think there was those that thought maybe, well, that won't last because that's kind of a fairy tale. And then there were the other ones said, oh yeah, that is what will last. But then I think there was others because we were so close so fast that, they definitely must have been together before. Like they had an affair or because there's no way you can be on just like that. And, it was on just like that. It was on just like that, right? Yeah. So, well, look at us just staring at each other's ass.
And the people who are listening on audio have no idea what we're doing.
Absolutely.
They don't even know we're staring at each other.
Yeah.
So they
I forgot
pauses.
people are even listening. Okay, that's good. All right. Well, that's a great place to kind of end it. Yes?
For sure. I think hopefully that added really some value to your guys' journey and helped anyone that's out there struggling with that or wondering about that, or even in a relationship that you don't know if, because I know for sure that the marriage I was in was not my person because I wasn't my person yet. So become your own person first. Become your own person, I think is the moral of the story. So thank you again for tuning into another episode.
Thank you, honey.
Oh, thank you, honey. Thank you.
We're really doing it here.
We're really doing it.
All right,
you guys are doing it with us. So
now we're getting gross.
So say in the comments, talk to us in the comments. Let us know what subjects you want to hear us talk about. I mean, Scott's got 30 years experience owning a business as a business owner and has been able to create some amazing abundance in his life. So he has a lot of knowledge there to offer. I mean, our own spiritual journeys that we've been on there, we've had to navigate a lot of different areas of our life. So we're always wanting to, like I said, help you guys in whatever way we can. So let us know what you're struggling with, tell us like a specific example of something you're struggling with. And it could be like almost like a live coaching call. There we go. Maybe we do
I
a
like
live
that. I
stream
love to do
or
that.
something.
I would love to do that. We should do a live stream. If we
Yeah.
get our 6 people that watch us and have.
So you 6 people
Show
that
up.
watch us, let us know if you want us to do a live stream, and you can come on the live stream and ask questions.
We should
and
do
we
a
can
live
answer
stream.
them.
I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
And we can, our group, our
Yeah.
people, we can have them maybe
Yeah.
come on and whatever. So
It can be a whole shit show.
yeah,
As
I
they
love it.
usually are.
All right,
Okay. We love you
we'll look
all.
into that.
Don't forget, like, subscribe, click the bell.
Yes, please.
Do all the things and
Yep.
go find it.
Yep.
Go find it.
It's my jam.